Hello and welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a sit down, talk through, show some photos. We're going to do some throwbacks. I'm going to be talking about how I became a sustainable maximalist. That's sort of what I called myself one day and it just really stuck. Essentially, my style journey, I'm going to show you a bunch of photos from when I was younger, a few years ago, throughout my style evolution journey, each step along the way, and kind of what that was like, how I got to where I am today. So you know the drill, sit back, relax, and let's get started. So I would say growing up, I was someone who always loved fashion. It was me and my sister, and I was the older sister, always dressing up, always dressing my younger sister up, doing my hair, doing her hair, my makeup, you know. I attended Catholic school, so I always had to wear a uniform. I don't know how I feel about uniforms. I get that they're a lot easier, but I feel like I couldn't express myself on a daily basis like some kids do. I would say that I never really figured myself out much as a young kid. And it wasn't until high school when I started secondhand shopping. This was kind of like the time before thrifting was super popular and everyone was doing it. It was the time when everyone thought wearing someone else's used clothes was super gross. And I think that shopping at thrift stores just opened my world up to a whole new bunch of possibilities. I think when you're in school, whether that's middle school, elementary school, even in high school, we're all still very much trying to fit in. And I was definitely that girl too. I wanted to have the coolest shoes, the newest Timberlands, or whatever it was at the time, just because it made me feel like I was cool. But it didn't ever make me feel like me. And that's what I really try to emphasize to people when they're kind of questioning what their personal style is or how they find it. And it really is sometimes trial and error, kind of taking parts of each and keeping it with you until you really figure yourself out. When you know you will know your personal style, and your personal style and your style in general can change all the time because you're always changing. I would definitely say breaking free from that mindset of always trying to fit in and trying to kind of be something that you're not is crucial. And I don't think that I even broke away from that until I graduated high school. I will say I did have a lot of rebellious times in high school where I would purposely come to school wearing a completely different outfit from what we're supposed to wear for our uniform. And I would get sent home or to the principal's office, or they would call my parents. And I think the more I was told you can't wear that, the more I wanted to wear it. I really feel like that's where I get this kind of edge to me when it comes to people telling me what to do or what to wear. It's like I've heard it my whole life, and I'm at that point in my life now where, nah, I'm gonna wear what I wanna wear. Not to hate on Catholic schools or anything, that's a whole other can of worms, but you get the point. After high school, I went to college. I actually went to university first for forensic science. Random spoiler, I did not graduate. Wasted a fun year doing a bunch of science classes. That was even a moment in my life where if that didn't happen, I might have not figured out who I am today. I specifically remember walking on campus at U of T to one of my calculus classes. And I think we had a test that day, and I just remember caring more about what I was wearing than about the test. And I was like, what am I doing here? And I know that sounds super silly, but I think it's just moments like those that you experience in your life that almost like a light bulb goes off and you're like, wait a second, this isn't me. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. And you just know. So after dropping out of my science program, I took a year off, did some work, did some soul searching, some figuring who I am out. And then I enrolled in a college program for visual merchandising arts, and I loved it. It was the first time I was in a school program that I got to be very creative in. I got to learn styling techniques. I got to learn color theory, a little bit of graphic design. I got to do so many things that I still love to do today. Will I say that where I am today is because of where I went to school or the fact that I even went to school? Probably not. But my schooling experience just really did teach me a lot about who I am. I would say over maybe the last 8 years or so, I've really been focusing on developing my personal style and collecting pieces in my wardrobe that genuinely feel like me, that are timeless, usually vintage because it's what I love, but it also has a story to it, and I just love wearing beautiful things like this. And I love having pieces in my wardrobe that my super talented creative friends make. So I have been collecting these pieces that I have now over probably the last 8 to 10 years. Now, where does the confidence to wear it come from? That's the key word here, confidence. I think I tell every single person that asks me anything about how I walk outside wearing what I wear and not care what people think, it's confidence. And it's something that I did not always have. Let me remind you back to the time when I said I tried to fit in, and I will try and pop up some photos of where you can clearly see I'm not me. I almost don't even look happy sometimes in these photos when I look back at them. I just don't see Sara. It's almost weird. It's like looking at a ghost, but I know it's me. It's just like this young girl didn't figure herself out yet, and that's totally okay too. Sometimes it takes people years and years and years, half their lives, to even figure it out. And hey, everyone is at their own pace. Learning to love yourself and accept yourself and show yourself to people is not easy, and it takes a lot of time. I think over the last few years since starting my TikTok and kind of creating this outfit diary / journal of my outfits, I can really see, and I'll also pop up some of my earlier TikTok video outfits, really see the evolution of my style even from just a few years ago. And I think putting myself out there, as contradictory as that sounds, because I do receive a lot of negativity online, I also receive a lot of positivity in ways that I cannot even begin to explain. I've received so many sweet messages about how I have helped inspire and help give confidence, and it's just the most heartwarming, truly life-changing thing to hear, and it's genuinely half of the reason why I do what I do today. It always was for me, and I always still get dressed for me, but I also do it now for the millions of people that view my videos and just need to know that they too can wear whatever they want. I think that my style has become a lot more colorful. I used to wear a lot more muted colors and a lot more tame pieces. So I think growing into wearing a bunch of color and wearing pieces like this with volume and texture is scary, and sometimes you just gotta do it. I think making that initial jump, I can honestly remember that one video I posted, which I will pull up on the screen. It is a full dog print outfit. I felt completely insane, but I also felt so cool at the same time. And I say I felt insane, not because I did about myself, but because I knew other people would view me that way. I knew how other people would perceive me, and that freaked me out. But what you have to realize, and what I started to realize, which is half the reason why I feel okay dressing the way that I do now, is that it doesn't matter how anyone else perceives me. It's what I think of myself. And I loved that dog outfit. So I wore it and I felt great, and I got a ton of compliments. Usually the only person holding yourself back and telling yourself that you can't do it is yourself. So stop doing that. As my platform grew on TikTok, it also gave me a huge boost of confidence to know that so many people loved and supported what I was doing. And at the same time, I got a ton of negativity and hate, especially when I first started my TikTok. I think that's the one thing that people ask me probably the most is, how do you handle that? And honestly, if I didn't receive some of those comments, I wouldn't have as thick skin as I have today. So I will say putting yourself out there is the most terrifying thing in the entire world, but you just have to do it. When you do, when you just make that jump, you'll realize, oh my God, it wasn't that bad. What's the worst that can happen? Part of me likes to poke a little bit of fun at the haters, relating back to what I said about my high school uniform. When someone tells me no, I'm like, yes. When someone says this is too much, I say it's not enough. That kind of thing. And I really feel like I've been able to translate that part of my personality into my fashion. I also think that I'm a super fun and maybe somewhat funny person. And I also think I translate that into my fashion with the super humorous and comical pieces that I have. My personal style is very personal to me. I definitely like to say I lean on maximalism the most, but it's not to say that I don't own black clothes or sometimes dress down. Not holding yourself up to a specific title or an aesthetic or a core of sort is important as well. Don't put yourself in a bubble. You are so much bigger than that, and you are going to grow to be so many more things. Which kind of brings me to another point I wanted to touch on, and that's change. You can clearly see, even scrolling through my Instagram feed from 2016, 2015, my earlier photos, to how my feed looks now. And it's like, boom, night and day. I get asked often, like, where did that shift kind of come from? What changed? And I changed. I grew. I used to be scared and shy and very, very insecure, and I am none of those things anymore. I think sometimes you just go through certain things in life, whether it be loss or relationships, and you grow and you learn about yourself and you start to love yourself more than anyone and anything. I really do feel like clothing and what we wear and how we choose to present ourselves is truly an expression of who we are. And for me, fashion has always been that outlet that I can speak through the easiest. It's like the best way to get to know me is by what I'm wearing. But I've kind of never felt that be exactly true until the last few years. I think now I just focus on wearing things that bring me joy, things that when I look in the mirror, I can say, damn, girl, you got it going on. Things that make me feel good and things that make me feel like me. Dressing for a guy or just anybody else for that matter is quite silly and just not how I want to live my life. And I would say over the last few years, I've just really been experimenting with mixing a bunch of different things together and still keeping some kind of cohesiveness and logic behind what I'm doing. Experimenting with your personal style, even as you're building it, is also very crucial. That's why I often like to push the limits. I like to see how many rules I can break and how far I can take it. Again, relating back to my uniform and how I don't like rules. Plus, they're meant to be broken. That kind of takes me to today, I believe, where again, I'll show some of my more recent outfits. I feel quite confident in my day-to-day outfits, in my styling, in what I do on TikTok and Instagram and here. I really do love what I do and who I am. End of the day, you can really wear whatever you want, and how you react to how people react to you is up to you. There's always going to be someone to say something negative no matter what, so you might as well wear the outfit anyway. Through building my platforms on social media, I have built such a lovely community of people, whether they are mutual friends that I now get to call real in-life friends, or followers and people that I've been able to interact with and genuinely build relationships with. It's just so beautiful. I just really love wearing things that make me feel good. And I think color has been something that, as I've introduced it into my wardrobe, I've become more and more obsessed with it. I also live in Canada where it's winter for like 8 months of the year. It's dark and gray, and color makes me happy. It really does give me this dose of like serotonin, and I really need that most days. Love volume and playing with textures, and I love super weird pieces. I love things that make people question what the heck I'm wearing, and I love it even more when they start to question themselves. I like when the outfit makes someone think, because it's kind of like art, and art is supposed to make you think and feel something. I think that pretty much concludes my style evolution / style journey and how I kind of got to where I am today. Definitely ask any more questions if I missed anything. I will definitely answer your comments below. My social medias are always linked below as well. I hope you learned something from today's video, or I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. It has been quite a journey to get to where I am, and that doesn't even mean in my career. That just means, you know, mentally with myself. And it genuinely, I would not be who I am if it weren't for all of the support and love from all of you. So thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart. And before I start crying on camera, I am going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next YouTube video. Mwah.